Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Align and Activate Raw Talks and Universal Truths. So we are exploring everything spiritual. We've got manifestation, quantum healing, channeling, light language, you name it, we've got it covered. So I'm Jenny Priestner, manifestation and mindset mentor, and I am joined by the beautiful
Amy Goodwin, Activation Amy. So I am a light language activation mentor and a quantum healing hypnotherapist. I help support healers and light workers to activate their light language so they can shine their gifts out into the world, radiate their beautiful hearts out into the collective, and just raise the frequency, raise the vibe.
Love it, love it. So this week then we are going to be speaking about the fear of being seen. So before we get started, and I would just like you to invite you to like and subscribe, obviously, to our channels, really. And this is just obviously just to show our support and just so you get notified of videos going forward. And yeah, it just enables us to create beautiful content and bring it to you to help raise your vibration and obviously just to help you align your thoughts and manifest your best life. So that is what it's all about, isn't it? It's here to live a life that we truly love, what it's all about. So the fear of being seen then. So this subject is massive. We can speak about it within life, we can speak about it within business. So we're just going to break down like how it comes about, what this actually looks like within your life, and then obviously at the end then how to overcome it. So the fear of being seen then. So I believe that this would tie back to quite a lot of the work that I do. So I help people release past experiences, past energies, past mindsets. And obviously, because the weight of those is kind of weighing them down. So with that, then there's sometimes it can be a link, something someone could have criticized you in the past. And then it just stops you then in future then showing up as who you are in this lifetime. It stops you wanting to put yourself forward and kind of be in the limelight, really. Does that kind of make sense to you? Fear of being seen, not wanting to be in the limelight.
Yeah, I feel like it plays out another big place that it plays out as well is like in our romantic relationships in terms
Ooh,
of us
more.
being fully vulnerable, us fully being ourselves, especially in those early stages of dating. I know it definitely has with me, like where I'm not like I'm kind of like holding part of myself back. Do you know what I mean? And not so much recently, but like in the past, I can really see where like for fear of being seen, for fear of being visible, right? In like my fullest expression, let's say, I've like played it a little bit cool, or maybe not fully open my heart, or maybe not like, you know, like said how I felt. I feel like that's a really big one, actually, like saying how you feel.
Your
So
authentic truth.
it's definitely not something like, just for people listening, fear of being seen is not just like, the fear of like dancing on stage or public speaking or having your own business or all these things. It's very, very, very much, you know, part of having that emotional intimacy, or any kind of intimacy in a relationship. So it's such a huge one. So that's how another way that I would say that it plays out.
Think as well though, obviously now that you've likened it back to that, and I totally get that because when I was going through the dating scene, because I am a little bit of a kooky character, I like, I randomly burst into song, I come out with silly voices, like I am quite an oddball. I'm just going to put that out there. So for
She is.
me to be my authentic self and to fully show up and be seen, like that is like 100% Jen. I don't feel like there's many people in life that can actually cope with that. But but it's true though. I am like, there's a force to be reckoned with. When I'm on
Yeah.
like full gen mode, it just happens. So I
Right.
suppose in the past I've dialed myself down with to do
Mm.
with meeting men and things like that because, again, you're gonna be, I don't know, just fear of judgment again, like what they're going to be thinking. Like if I just
Mhm.
turn up and I'm just rocking out with doing all these strange voices and this and that. But what happens is when we're not being our true self, then what you get in return is you are then going to match with someone that's a perfect match for the person that you are portraying yourself as. So if
Oh, so
100%
good.
Jen is
So good.
a little bit weird and a little bit wild and I like doing voices and, you know, I'm singing this and I'm doing that and I dial that down and I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm going to speak about the news, then I'm going to get someone that is that boring and also wants to just speak about the news. When in reality, that is not my perfect match. That person is not on my frequency. I've kind of like, I don't want to say lowered my frequency, but I've misaligned myself. That's a good word. And kind of warped into where I think people want me to be in order to be accepted. So yeah, there's a little bit of a fakery going on, really, isn't there? When we with the fear of being seen, because we've dialed down who we are, or we just completely like hide in totally. So yeah, that's how that's played out then in my relationships.
Yeah, I just wanna say she is an absolute oddball as well. Because like I messaged I opened a voice note from her this morning and I was still like kind of waking up and I like to arrive and ground and do all that. And my phone was like set to 1.5 and Jenny always talks really fast. She always talks at a million miles an hour. And this message straight away was like, and my phone was on full blast and it was like, good morning. And I was like, oh, Jenny. And he was like going on about a million things. I'm like, oh, dude,
Maybe I should start that. Maybe I should start like an early morning club because I am the worst morning person ever. Like you wake up and have to arrive. I like wake up and arrive. So I have like cacao in the morning, but I mix it with like this mushroom drink. And honestly, I go from like 0 to 100 in like 3 sips. It's epic and it's all natural. And if you want the links for those, I'll stick them in the comments. I'm not endorsed by them. I'm just saying that like they are epic products. So yeah, so that's how I arrive in the morning. Um, but yeah, you've got to be. I'm a morning person.
Yeah, I'm not like, I'm not.
But,
What
but
was the
yeah,
point anyway?
so yeah, we digress. Just confirming that Jen is an oddball, but hey, you know,
Yeah, she
that's just the
is.
energy that I bring. This is my authentic
Mm.
have it energy, not dialing it down for no one nowadays.
Yeah, and it's great, because you've obviously met your person, your twin flame, soulmate, life partner, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's like I'm definitely still on that journey, and it's just something that I'm noticing in myself. But I'll tell you kind of how it might have played out as well for me is like, so obviously, like my weirdness is, hello, I talk to aliens, I talk in alien language. So like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, so this doesn't
Tinder profile, hobbies. I talk to aliens.
the picture of an alien's head on the dating site. Oh my god. Okay. So it's not just probably in my dating life as well, but I mean it does play out in other times. Say for example, even if at my spiritual center and stuff like that, the different places at the yoga center and different places that I go to spiritually, people will ask me what I do, and it's not like online and wherever, like an MBS or wherever, where I'm there to talk about what I do. I will just say, but there's like a holding back of, like, especially at first, where I'm like, I see how weird this person is, right? So there's definitely like, are you going to be able to match me, right? So I feel like, I don't know, that's probably okay, right? And I probably need to give myself permission for that to be okay, because I don't feel like we're in a time just yet where I'm like, yeah, I talk to aliens, like, and it might take me a couple of minutes of talking to the person,
I
and then I
also
might.
talk to angels, I would like to point out as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
again,
I mean, that's the main thing. But I
that's
guess
another level.
it probably is more in my dating life where like I'm like, oh, so what do you do? Oh, I do spiritual coaching and Reiki, personal development. Oh, that's nice. But really, what I actually do is take is take people to other planets so that they can go and drive a spaceship and channel, you know, whatever. And it's like, so we don't get to that straight away, but
See, I feel like that should be your opening sentence, because that
yeah.
there and then, if they can hack that shit, then that like straight away just whittles down the ones that are just like, what? And then like, bye, Felicia. Because imagine like building up a relationship with someone, you're like, yeah, it's got something to it, him. And then 3 dates in, it was like, oh, by the way, I like, you know, communicate with intergalactic beings and I like to guide them in my sessions with people. And then they were like, what? So I feel
Yeah.
like that is your opening sentence, and that's like your make or break thing. If they can accept it straight away, it's like, right, check, winner, through to the next round. If they don't, then it's like,
I
howdy.
mean, to be fair, how I do actually say it is I help people to connect with their guides, and I do past life regression. And then normally they are like, oh, that's interesting.
Still a little bit dialed down that way, mate.
Still a little bit dialed down. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that is some of the ways that it can come across. But yeah, how else has it played out? I mean, I can't think of any other ways right now, but let's just use the example of like in my business, for example. It's like, you know, we've done some sessions recently with NLP, probably mentioned this last week, around the inner child work with yourself, you know, and it was like, how much, I guess we're getting into now, why do we have the fear of being seen? And I guess for me, like a big part of it was perfectionism and feeling like I could do it wrong, right? So I could get spirituality wrong, yeah, and like not fully put myself out there, because when I was growing up, I was growing up in a strict church, which was the Mormon church, which is extremely kind of, let's say, dogmatic in its approach. It's very like constricted, like, you know, even from a young age you had to be a certain way, and if you didn't fit into that box, then, you know, you were told that you were doing it wrong and you weren't, whatever. They had different words and different ways of saying it. And yeah, there's just so many reasons why you can end up having fear of being seen. Another one just coming to light now as we're just talking, in that I remember being 4 and I remember being in PE, right, at school, physical education, for those that don't know, because it might be in other countries. And so that was like sports and all that, right? And the gym. So they used to have the what's called the apparatus, where, you know, you used to have to climb up in the climbing frames and shit like that. And I can remember something happened in this particular class where the person next to me had been talking about like the apparatus, and the teacher thought it was me that had spoken, and that I was smiling. I was a very smiley child, so this teacher was like, stand up, and I was like, stood up in front of all my classmates. It's the first time I ever remember getting a bollocking off someone that like wasn't my parents, right? And he absolutely laid into me, like tore strips out of me. He was like, why are you smirking? He's like, how dare you like speak about this, that, and the other. And you know, it like put the fear of God into me, because I was just made an example of for something that I didn't even do. And like, so for years and years, I had this fear from that day on of like, you know, the physical education class, and that went all the way through my school and then into my adult life, where I guess I had a fear of like masculine, like the masculine as well, you know, like masculine authority figures. So it's really interesting that we've just unearthed that as well, because I don't really equate that to that, but obviously this is like
We're doing a
helping
session
me.
here live.
I know we're doing a session, like let's do it. Like, so and that, yeah, that would really equate to how, you know, like fear of, yeah, masculine authority figures and being seen, right? Like at work, you know, because obviously a lot of corporate jobs and stuff like that, I'm not in that anymore, but a lot of that is kind of dominated by masculine authority figures at this point still. But I would get so anxious every time like one of these bosses would come over, and even though they were nice, and I was like, well, why? But I feel like that's just maybe put a bit of a piece of that into the puzzle.
Like we've just done some online live healing there with
Yeah.
activation Amy. How has fear of being seen has showed up in my life? Honestly, it's
Mhm.
I feel like I've come through so much, and definitely lately, because I think social media has been a big barrier for me. Like back in the days when I was at uni, I'd always be posting pictures. I'd always be posting, this is what I'm doing this weekend. This is you know, picture of me strewn out on the pavement, doing absolutely everything with all my friends and this and that. Like there was just no shame. I was just like, this is me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've got to say. And then I think as I got a little bit older, and maybe again, I wasn't spiritual at this time. I think it was maybe more, I think maybe more as my hormones started to kick in a little bit more, and I started to kind of think and care what people thought about me. So I didn't want to put things out there because, like, again, though, you know, when you put a status up and then it got no likes or got no comments, and then I used to feel really stupid. So then I'd want to take it down. And I remember actually deleting something one time because I did, most of the time it was just like a this is what I'm doing status. But I remember one time I was like, oh, has anybody got any advice on this? It's like tumbleweed. I was like, oh my God, I don't feel loved, I don't feel seen, I hate this. So like I think I took it down because I was so embarrassed. So I think like those little seeds kind of planted it of like, you are not liked on social media. You are nobody's bothered what you've got to say. I think that was like one of the main ones. And that in fact, honestly, I feel like I've just done a therapy session with myself there. Like that sentence, nobody is bothered what you've got to say, that stopped me putting myself forward with my business for so long because again in my head I was like reiterating the point of like, yeah, but it's just me, it's just what I've got to say, it's not that good. And the thing is, once the seed is planted, it starts sprouting. So nobody, you know, it's not that good because I'm not that clever. I'm not that clever because I was never any good at school. And like, before you know it, this seed has fully sprouted and grown a tree. And it's, you know, then a massive block for you to putting things out there. So yeah, I feel like I've kind of, while speaking about this, unearthed that one a little bit. So yeah, no one's bothered about what I've got to say. When in reality now that I am kind of doing it, you know, it's with consistency, people are noting things. But yeah, like with my business, I was fearful of creating a masterclass and putting myself out there. No one's going to turn up. No one's going to turn up because no one's bothered what I've got to say. And again, though, like imagine trying to have a business, yeah, and you're like this, like, I've got something to say. Like, it just wouldn't work, is it? Like, you've got to be loud, you've got to be proud, you've got to tell the world exactly who you are, what you do, how you can help them, and what the result is. But if you've got a fear of being seen, then you're not doing any of them steps. You're literally just sat there, like, pretending to be a keyboard warrior, like, melting behind your computer, having a meltdown, like, not wanting to be seen. And that is true, though, isn't it? So, yeah, so I feel like my fear of being seen was massively within my business, which is obviously something that I've overcome because here I am on a podcast. I've got masterclasses that are full of people, got programs that are full. So yeah, it's once you get through these barriers, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So I think with mine as well, I've just said there, it was fear of judgment, and it was, how were people going to perceive me? What are people going to say about me? And it's like, the thing is though, it's like, you don't want people to talk about you. But in essence, if you've got a business, you do want people to talk about you,
Right. Yeah.
because this is how then, like, oh my God, did you see what Jenny Priestner had written the other day? Oh, you've got to do that. So in essence, my fear of like having people speaking about me was the thing that I actually do need people to do. I need them to speak about me. So yeah, though. So go on then. So relay that back then. The thing that I was most fearful of, I actually needed then. So with yours then, what would you say? So yours was doing it wrong. So how then would you reframe that then for me? Let's do a little bit of online NLP.
How then would I reframe it?
So
So,
yours was, you were fearful of doing it wrong, yeah? So that's why you didn't put yourself out there. So
so yeah, sorry. So no, something has just come to me then while she was speaking. So I guess it ties in with what you're saying. So what it comes down to, what it came down to with me was the fear of rejection. Okay, like in my business, you know, and I feel like it is, although you will get to a point where you're like, I'm not scared of that anymore. There's always this is what I've come up against recently. It's like there's always a new layer and there's always a new level, and like you'll think you've overcome it, and you have to a point, and it's like, but now, like, you know, I've just created a 6-month course which is called Confident Lightworker, which is all about becoming visible, right, so that you can attract clients. And like I've just created this thing, and this is a whole new level for me. And like, you know, when I started my membership earlier on in the year, and it's like so much stuff comes up, and it's like, what if no one signs up? What if it doesn't work? What if people don't like me? It's like, what, and basically what it comes down to, I think, for me, in answer to what you're saying, is it's a fear of rejection. Right, but at the same time it's the fear of success, because then you'll be more seen and you'll have more people. So it's like you can't fucking win. You just got to do the work. You've got to do the work. There's no way around it, because you're scared of rejection, but you're scared of success.
Oh my.
It's mad.
And you know what you are when you're there, when you're scared of rejection and you're scared of success, you are stuck. That's
Yeah,
where you are.
yeah,
So it's like, we obviously
yeah.
don't want to be there, and we don't want to, you know, you've got to push through that. So, but I like how what you're saying there about, like, obviously when you work through this fear of being seen, like, or how yours was the fear of rejection with it, and you do the work and you get yourself so far, but then you'll up yourself in your business and you get to a new level. But because you've leveled up, you're at a stage and at a platform where you've never been before. So again, though, what you'd dealt with and healed further down here can, what's the word I'm looking for? Amplify a little bit further up, because you've
Yeah.
gone to a next level in your success. So your fear, or your fear of rejection, is a little bit more amplified as well. So again, you've just got to keep peeling it back and peeling it back. But once you know how to do it, and once you've pushed through it once, it's again retraining your subconscious mind. It's like, yeah, but we've already done it once, so now we can do it again. So it's
Yeah.
just about doing your work. But one of the things as well that stopped me kind of showing up in my business was perfectionism. Like, I would, everything had to be perfect, and we were just having a laugh about this. Like, I would spend 4 hours making a reel, and that is no word of a lie. Like, it would be, I'd have to do it like this, I'd have to get the song to match, I'd have to do this, and honestly I'd be on it for 4 hours, and then literally that 4 hours was just spent for scroll, like, and it's gone. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so for a business owner on this side of it, we plow so much love, care, attention, energy into what we are doing for social media, for our programs, and for everything that we see in a microscopic way. People just look at and go, oh, yeah, right, okay. And they just kind of see the bigger picture on it. And I think that's what we need to kind of remove ourselves from the perfectionism streak. And it's like, and I had to, so this is coined, this saying is coined from my corporate job, and it's such a great one. So it's FISI,
I
book
love
it,
this.
send it. Yeah. And this
Yeah.
is something that I have had to live by for quite a while, because it's like, you'll do it, you'll do this reel, you'll take 4 hours on it, and you'll watch it and you're like, I don't like it. And it's like, but you've just spent 4 hours of your time building it, and I know you don't like, you know, that the leaf on the tree in the background is sticking out your head and it's making you look like you've got ears, and that's why you don't want to put it out there. Fuck it, send it, put it out there, because no one will notice those things going on in the background, or, you know, that you hadn't quite tidied up your living room or something else. Like, we look at our what's going on in our scenes under a microscope. Like, oh my god, like the other day I posted a picture and I had a massive hair going across my outfit, and I had an all black outfit on and this blonde hair going across it, and I was like, if I'd seen that before, I would not have posted it. But obviously it had gone out, and nobody's gonna be like, she got a hair on her outfit, and like,
Dirty bitch.
what?
Dirty bitch.
Dirty bitch, like, clean yourself. But you know, they've got blondies and they're molting, you know, it's molting season. But but that's the truth though. Like, we kind of like, we just zoom in and hone in on things, and it's like,
Yeah,
why? As long as the value is there, as long as the
exactly.
energy is there, as long as your message is coming across, like, just remember this one. fuck it, send it, just put it out there, because all it'll be to someone is a, but hopefully it might be a,
Hopefully not.
well, hopefully not. Hopefully you've created some like valuable content that it's going to be a, I get her. She feels me. Like, follow. Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I totally hear you on this one. Like, so I've got this coach, right, that I've been working with for a little while and stuff, like on and off, just love her to bits. And she's like, she creates YouTube videos in her dressing gown, and she's just my, out of all the other coaches on the internet, right? She's just my goals because she gives no fucks, right? She doesn't, sorry for swearing, but it is, right? She's like, she doesn't have a fuck to give, and she's amazing. She's so good. But because she like wakes up in the morning, she's got a broom and she's like, I need to record this video and I need to do it right now. And her hair's a mess. She's not even had a wash or anything, right? And she's just in a dressing gown and she just like talks at the screen. But what she has to say and her energy is so profound and so wise. And I just love her. She's like my internet mum. Do you know what I mean? I just absolutely love her because she's so real. And that's like one of the things about her is that she doesn't care. And I'm like, I just love that about her. And it goes to show. And it doesn't matter. Like, we put all of this time and energy. And yeah, I think we're quite visual people though, Jen. So I think to us, we want it to be a visual experience.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like ultimately, there are definitely times like when I have like recorded live streams and things like that, and I do not even brush my hair and stuff, and like they've been some of the best ones that like I've done. And because like what you're saying is it's about the energy, right? It's about the energy and somebody having a transformation and you giving your gift and trusting and knowing that that is enough, right? Because you are enough, because you are worthy. And the person that does go meh, like you were saying, is like not is not he's
Not
not
your ideal client.
no, and they're not going to resonate with what you have to do or what you have to give. I love very, very like real people, and they're the people where it really does shine, because that I feel like they really do have self-love, and that's what that particular coach is about. She's all about like self-love and like not about like the external. But I do like things to be pretty. Like, I do like my plastic alien head, and I know not everyone will, but like I like it, and I like this thing. So I do hear you on that one, but it's like it's not letting that outside stuff stop you being of service, because when you call to share your gift, you really can just get in your own head and get in your own way, and it's just about really dropping into your heart and remembering everything is energy. And so you could create, like you're saying, the most perfect thing, like minute long thing that's taking you like 4 hours, and for someone to just not even like look at it. Like, I've done this before, especially with TikTok, right? It's like I've spent hours and hours preparing something, and then I've literally like talked for 30 seconds just from what's on my heart and like what's the right state, and I'd like a top on with a stain and all that, and then just put it out, and then it's got like thousands of views, and people have like signed up for like my free shit, and like
Check the hillbilly out.
I don't
Repost.
you know
Went
what I
viral
mean
for the wrong
though?
reasons.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and you think, why am I bothering? Like, why do we even bother like making an effort? Because that's not what it's about. Obviously, people just want to feel you, right? They want to feel your energy. That's it. Like,
It
it's that
is,
simple.
it's so true. It's like, so Catherine and I made a video the other day, and because she's not very computer savvy,
Yeah,
so we were dancing on the video, and the thing is though,
yeah.
it's had a massive response. Like, it's like on TikTok, it's like on 9,000 views,
Mint.
loads of likes, loads of, I was like, oh my god, love it, love it, love it. But what she didn't cut out was when I was walking away to stand where she was, I was picking my knickers out my bum, and I was like Like, I said to her afterwards, I was like, you posted it like that? Like, because obviously I would have snipped them bits out. So as I'm walking away, like I'm like picking my knickers out of my bum and like just getting ready to like start dancing. And yeah, but the video itself has got a massive,
Yeah, it was
massive
good.
response because everyone has seen what we're doing and they felt the energy of what we were doing.
Right.
So it's in those instances, like don't like yeah, don't put something forward, just because it's not perfect. No one's commenting underneath like picking your knickers out your bum. But yeah, that's my thing. I'm like, what have you done?
Isn't it? It's so funny what we put ourselves through because it's like other people just either think, oh, she's just getting herself she's just getting herself right, isn't she? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Like they might
Like,
not even see it, or even if they see it though, like it's a quick thought, like, all right, okay. But obviously, like for me, I was like, lay there. Like I wasn't doing, but I'm just saying, for example, like at nighttime, like she could have snipped it out. Like, like sleepless nights of it. Their dreams of like knickers being picked out of bums and stuff. But but it's true though. But another one as well that I feel stops people putting their gifts forward. And I think as well, this can be reflected with, especially in a spiritual business as well. It's imposter syndrome. It's like, am I doing it right? And this was what you touched on before, wasn't it? With
yeah,
there's the right way, there's the wrong way, and there's my authentic energy doing it exactly the way that I want to do it. And I think with imposter syndrome as well, going back to social media, if you're not 100% comfortable in who you are and what you do and what you offer, you'll be Googling like going and looking on other people's profiles. Right, okay, well, they've done it that way, but
don't do
they've
it.
done it that way because that's them and that's how it works for them. But if you're trying to reuse their words,
Yeah,
reuse their tones, copy their videos, then all you're trying to do is you're trying to get into their groove and get into their frequency. When you are an energetic being, and we spoke about this in We Are Energy, which was like week 1 maybe.
great.
So go back and have a look at that one. And all the time you are emitting your unique frequency out to the universe. And this, like how we've said about dialing yourself down with dating, dialing yourself down with dating, like this is why you wouldn't get a match. So if you're not putting 100% you out there, like this is me, this is what I've got to make, this is what it is, then you're not going to get those ideal clients. You'll get the ideal clients that were kind of designed for the person who you were copying. So again, it is just about being strong and confident and showing up 100% you in what you do, and just knowing that like, yeah, my program can deliver. I've got what it takes. So yeah, I feel like those are definitely the ways in which then it can show up in life and in business.
I love it. Yeah, like definitely. What was going to say then? I was going to say something about yeah, the imposter syndrome is a big one that plays out, especially with people that are being activated, have their light language activated, because like yeah, and with the channeling and with the healing abilities and all that, because it's not like necessarily a tangible thing that can be seen, and it's not a tick box exercise. And light language is all about coming home to your heart, to your authentic expression, and connecting with your soul, and then channeling the different angels and guides that you're connected with, right? But what a lot of people do when they first get activated and it starts coming through is they second guessing themselves, and they're going, am I making it up, and all this, like, is it real, am I doing it right? Because we're so conditioned as humans to do things in a certain way. And when we've got our own healing business, or we live in our life purpose, everyone is different. And I really love that what you were saying about like not looking at what other people do, because I think that has been a big thing for me on my journeys, that I've never ever looked at like what other people were doing, especially as I've developed my light language courses and everything that I do, because I was very adamant from the beginning that this wasn't coming through anybody else. It was really important that that I did it my way, the way I was being shown, the way I was being guided, and it worked. And then when stuff does pop up randomly on my feed, or when when I have somehow ended up, I don't know, like looked at what other people have done, it's like confirmed it to me, because they're doing the same thing pretty much as me, like their way, obviously. But it's like, this is being downloaded from the quantum, right? But I know that what I do is very, very true and unique to me. And what I do is activate people into their unique soul's expression, right? And it is definitely that, because we're not here to be the same as anybody else, right? We're not here to do the exact same thing. Everyone's light language is slightly different, yet there are certain similarities in the dialect and the energy which is coming through. But knowing this, one of the things that I always say is, if you couldn't get it wrong right now, what sound would you make? What movement would you make? Right? What would you draw? What would you express? Right? Because you can't get it wrong. And that's the truth. It's like, if you couldn't get it wrong, what would you do next? I feel like that's a
That's
really big thing to like
that is
journal
such a
on.
powerful sentence, cause it kind of
Mm.
it bypasses their critical mind, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
they've got a fear of getting it wrong. And we
Mm.
speak about this in coaching as well. Like, okay, then, so if you couldn't get it wrong, what would it look like? Oh, right, well, it would look like this. Oh, right, well, that's exactly what it was going to be anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of tomfoolery there. Well done, you. But yeah, when people like, it's again, it's like a sentence that we use in question when people like, oh, I don't know that. It's like, oh, but can't think of an example because I need the thingy, but yeah, it's a way of bypassing that the resistance to do it, really. So if you have then got a fear of showing up, then a fear of being seen, fear of showing up. So this then in business, I would say, is you're not gonna be accepting opportunities. So the thing is like when we manifest, so say now, and I've done a couple of lives on this, is like you want to start up a new business venture and you are putting everything out there to the universe. And what's going to happen is the universe is going to deliver to you. It's not just going to you're not going to wake up the next day with like 100k followers on Instagram and your Z calendar or your Calendly, whatever you use, full of people and like, oh my god, the universe has delivered me my business, epic, right, job done. It doesn't work like that. You really have to start from the bottom, but it's going to give you stepping stones. It's going to give you everything that you need to be the person that you want to be in order to like manifest what you're doing. An example of this as well is, obviously I'll relate this back to my journey, is obviously created my own business, and I started getting, obviously being seen for an expert in my field, manifestation, mindset, and energy. And I started to be asked as a keynote speaker at public events. Now, if I had a fear of being seen, then I would be like, oh no, it's fine. I'm just taking the kids to the car wash that day or something like that. I would start coming up with all these excuses to not take these opportunities. So then you're saying to the universe, it's like, right, I want that. But because of my fear of being seen, it's stopping me going from it, stopping me going for it. So this is what we've got to. This is why we have to do the work. This is why we have to work on these limiting beliefs. Because if you have got a fear of, you know, social media presence, like we've said, fear of, putting yourself out there, fear of doing lives, fear of showing up on a podcast, like we even like, I remember our first one when we were doing it, we're both like, right, we're ready now, right, got to do this now. And it's like, and like now we're just sat here like we're just having a chat, it's
Yeah.
just, and that's the difference. It's you sink into it, you relax into it. So
Mm.
I think that's one of the ways then how like the fear of being seen can manifest as a problem in your life. Do you feel like you've got any?
So what I just wanted to add there to that, I think what it comes down to is like, it's you trust in yourself a lot more over time, and you trust in life, and you trust in source or your angels. I work with the angels, so it's like I trust in them to like guide me and to know what to say, right, and to know what to do. But there's something deeper than that in there. There's like Jenny was saying before about the phrase that she has, for her work, in that there's the point where you just like, fuck it, send it, like literally fuck it, send
First
it.
tattoo.
Like, it's like, I'm enough. And that's what it comes down to. Like, I am enough. And I guess some of the journey as well is, it is a journey, especially if, because obviously we do the same thing in a lot of ways, where we're helping people to, you know, like activate and launch their like healing business or whatever, you know, it is their dream, right? And there's going to be steps that you're going to be asked to take, and it's going to feel challenging, and it's about you fully backing yourself. But even when you don't, you taking that step anyway, doing the fuck it, send it, right, is what is like the most liberating thing. Because I can honestly remember when, like, the first time doing live streams, right, it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, the first time I ever did one. And I was absolutely like terrified, like was on the verge of having a panic attack underneath my desk, and like my hands and feet were like cold, and I was like sweating, and I felt like it was the hardest thing ever. And I used to be like tentatively like pressing live like, and oh my god. And now there's been a lot of times, you know, I haven't done one recently where I've just jumped on and started chatting shit, and I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know where it's coming from. I'm just like, say to my angels, you know, as you know, please like speak through me, help to know the right things to say. But a lot of the live stream is me just being me and just being chilled and just having a conversation with people as people are jumping on and say, "Hi," you're like, "Oh, how's your cat?" Or "How's this?" Or "How's that?" "Oh, you sick of this school holidays?" Or whatever. Like, and people love that because you're just a person. Like, and I remember like my old live streams. Literally, I'd have to write it all out. I'd have it all like bullet points. And I remember, I'm sure, like I was actually reading one of them, like the full thing from the paper, and going, yeah, yeah, like the whole thing. And just over time, you just don't care anymore. You're just like, no, like people don't want that. They don't want they don't want perfect, because that's not how we live our lives. Because people are not probably gonna, you know, resonate with that or sign up to work with you if you're like too scripted, and like you just let it flow. And then and that's a process. I know that's hard in the beginning, but I literally say to people, you're just being you, you're just sharing your energy, like you're having a conversation with people. I've made this so much harder than it is, and everyone makes it so much harder than it is. Like, we're just having a conversation now. We've not really planned this, like we just maybe said, right, what we're going to talk about. And then I didn't even know what I was going to talk about today. Like, I had no idea. I was like, okay, well, let's see what happens. And that's what you get like over time. And people like that because you're just being an actual human that, you know, is talking. And like, it's not really any harder than that. Like, it's not.
It's like what you were saying about the live. So whenever I used to record something to go and put it up on Instagram, I'd spend too long picking it apart. I'm like, well, I don't like that. I stumbled with my work there, that. And in order for me to get past that, I then just moved on to lives, because lives is the ultimate bucket. It's sent. Like, it is already gone. Like, you know, it's just a case of it's have that. Whatever it looks like, have that. So yeah, that was a big way for me to, and also as well, like I said before, I was spending hours and trying to what do you do with a reel? Edit it and shave it down and do it this, and it was taking so much of my time that I'm just like, right, I'm just going to do a live. And I just set because obviously people don't want you to waffle on too long, so I set a timer on my watch just so I know then that I'm past the point of waffleage, and then wrap it up, boom, have that. So yeah, so that's how I got past that, like, fear of like the perfectionism side of it.
Yeah.
So but definitely I'd say procrastination as well. When we've got this fear of showing up, I'd go through every task possible to not do what I needed to do because I just didn't want to do it. But now it's like when you rip it, it's like when, you know, when you're ripping a plaster off, it's like it's gonna hurt when you do it. You just got to do it. So it's like that's how I feel like things like with procrastination, because it's, you know, that you know you need to do it, but you don't want to do it because you're scared. So the answer is do it. Like, you just have to just push yourself through it. That's the thing with the fear of being seen. A lot of it is you've got to push yourself through your comfort zone. You've got to push yourself out of it. And that is where growth lies on the other side. No one ever created, like, some 6-figure business or whatever you want to do, 10-figure business, sat at home nice and snugly in the blanket, not taking any risks, fearing what people thought of them. Like, you're never going to get anywhere in that way. So how then, Amy, would you work with your clients, or even on yourself for a fear of being seen then? What would you do? Because I know you work a little bit differently to me then. So how would you heal that?
So I guess the biggest thing that like was coming up then, like while she was saying, is like, yeah, it's definitely about like the pushing through and just doing it. There is all of that.
Just
But
do it.
just do it, right? But like what I bring in, I guess from speaking personally about myself, right, is like bringing a lot more compassion into it, right? Being compassionate for myself in those moments, like giving myself a hug and saying, look, I know you don't want to do this right now, right? It's not life or death, okay? But why are we doing this? I think a big reason to come back to is, especially when you've got a healing business, or you live in your life purpose, or you feel so called to share something, is remembering why. That me coming back to my why, the reason why I do this, has been the thing that has always propelled me forward and not let me get so much in my head that like I've quit, right? Because if you're not clear on why you do something, on what what the overall result for you and everyone around you is, you're not going to, you are going to have more procrastination, you are going to stop yourself. So for me, what it always comes back to is, I want everybody to have a profound connection with their angels and guides, and to know that that love and that support is always there, and that they can channel that and have access to that in any given moment. I want them to know that they're not alone. They never have been. They've come here for a purpose. When we connect to our hearts, everything in our lives changes, and we all have the ability to share and express this energy in a way that connects us all. And ultimately, it comes down to this one thing that is at the core of spirituality, that it's just simple, right? And the simplicity is, it's love, right? I want them to remember that they are loved. That's the reason why I do what I do, and I want them to feel that love and to know that they are loved in every single given moment. So when I get in my head and when I start to procrastinate things, I come back to what it is that I just said, because you're here with a purpose, and this is the thing that drives me every single day to do this and to show up. So that's how
That's
I
a
would
drop might walk out situation, that. Oscar acceptance speech. Love it. Love it. It's all about love. So yeah, so we have the same aim, don't we? But obviously we do work different ways.
Yeah.
So I would say with mine would be with my clients, is uncovering the subconscious limiting belief. So what is actually causing their fear of being seen? And obviously I've done similar work with yourself, haven't I? And so this is where obviously the coaching, the NLP side of it is. And there's a lot of intuitive channeled knowledge kind of comes through.
Mm.
And it is just about unearthing. I go like this because I see the unearthing is, like when you've got like a big ton of soil in front of you and you just kind of shake it and it all kind of like all goes loose. And that's what I do with the clients. It's about asking the questions and we're just kind of moving everything around. And like how we've done here, where we've been speaking about things, something just clicks and you're like, oh, Right. Well, that is linked to that then. And that's what I suppose is happening in mine with the NLP. And obviously as well, a lot of timeline work as well. We go back to instances where they might have been having to be seen in school, or maybe they were criticized or something as a child. And we allow the mind to move back, and we to do this timeline work, and they'll get back to like the first memory where they were ever criticized, or like where they were ever for perfectionism or something like that. And then they realize it's from that memory, then that seed, remember how I said the seed that over the years has sprouted, and it's over time it's become this massive great big thing that stopped them being seen. So with me, it's recognizing it, it's acknowledging it, it's feeling it, it's healing it, and releasing it. That then clears the mindset and the energy to be able to move forward, to be able to put yourself out into the public, to show up and be seen. And as well, though, we do a lot of comfort zone work as well. So again, there's the subconscious mind just wants you to be safe, and everything that you've never experienced is classed as unsafe to the subconscious mind. So again, it's a lot of rewiring for the subconscious, letting it know that it's okay to accept new and exciting things, because this is where growth lies. So tying back with what Amy said there, the why is always a catalyst. So if we always have our manifestation, our visualization of why we want to get there, it allows us to move through the comfort zone then to obtain and reach the goal. So yeah, it is a definite one. It's like the push-pull factors, isn't it? So yeah, that's definitely one with that one. And again, it's always being in alignment with your vision. So you've got your why, like, why do you want to do this? I want my business. But what is that going to get you? Right. Okay. Well, it means I'm going to be able to take the kids to school. It means I'm going to be able to work flexibly. It means I'm going to be able to, make an uncapped amount of money. So that is the why, but it's about giving feelings to those. What is that going to do? Right. It's going to give me financial freedom. What is that going to do? My God, I'm going to be able to travel and do what the hell I want and be able to coach people in different countries. So again, it's with your manifestation, it is all about feelings as well as the why. So we've got that on a mental level. You've got to really feel into that, because it is that energy that is emitting out into the universe that is then going to bring the events, the people, the places, the opportunities that you are no longer fearful of accepting. And yeah, you're going to be able to show up in your life feeling healed, feeling rewired, and just moving forward out of the comfort zone. So yeah, that would be my recipe for it.
So powerful. Yeah. And I think the thing is, what's on the other side of this, right, is it's freedom, right? Is the other side of, moving out of moving through, being seen, is freedom. Because whatever work you do on this, and whatever way you choose to do it, as you're going through this process, you are going to come more home to yourself, which is then going to translate to some people leaving in your life, but new beautiful relationships coming in that are aligned to you, and you much more easily calling in those souls that you're meant to serve, because it does become a lot more easy. Definitely. I remember in the beginning when it would literally take me hours, I remember, to like write a post, and now it's like my hands are going so fast and it's written in about 15 minutes, like, if that. It's just like bump, it's like it's just this energy that's moved through me. It's literally like I'm automatic writing, because you you tapped into something more. Like, again, a lot of this comes back to channeling, right? Because you're channeling your higher self, your soul's expression again, which it makes things a lot easier. It makes being seen a lot easier, because it's not about your ego being seen. It's about you, who you are at the core. And when you love and accept you know, that part of yourself, like you accept yourself unconditionally anyway, I guess is what I'm trying to say, as a soul. And it's just putting that out. And then as things come up with the ego, you're just like, you know, I see you, you know, what is it now? I see you, I acknowledge you, I release you, right? Thank you. You can say that as well. Thank you. Thank you for that. Like, there's so many things that you can do to like move through the fear of being seen, but it does get easier. Yes, there is a new level and like new layers to it, but it's like we can always draw from the past, like we were saying before. Well, I did this, so I can definitely do that. You know, it does get easier. Like, yeah.
It does definitely get easier. And how you said there, it's freedom. I feel like this is Jerry Springer's closing moment. It's liberating. It is liberating to know that you can show up in your business with with no airs or graces, really. Like how your lady turns up in her pajamas. You know, she's like, oh, but I've got to get dressed and do this. It's like people aren't asked about that. They just want the information. They just want to know what it is you're selling or what it is you're providing, you know, what's the value in it. They just want that. So yeah, I feel like the closing statement is just be your authentic self, align with your authentic energy, allow this energy to move out of you without fear, without judgment, without restrictions, and watch your business go off and watch your life change. I feel like that's a good place to leave it.
Yeah, beautiful. And your relationships as well, like just your friendships, you know, all of it, like all of it. So if you're someone that, you know, a lot of my clients and students that I work with, they say, you know, I've not really got anyone in my life, and I was definitely like that for a long time, but it's gonna change how you interact with other humans, you know, moving through this, right, from a state of compassion. And you are going to definitely call in your soul tribe, whether that be, you know, a romantic partner, your friendships, and, you know, and or students, clients, whatever it is that you do, you're gonna call in your soul tribe. You are, because you're shining and you're radiating light, and that can't help but magnetize your people to you.
If you are weird, put it out there, because weird attracts weird. And we're going to work on Amy's opening statement for when she's on dates. My name's Amy and I speak to aliens. There you go. We'll keep you posted on how that one's going. So yeah, so if you have liked what we have said then about the fear of showing up then, so please like and subscribe just to show your support. If you've got any questions, don't be afraid, put them in the comments. And also as well, you know, we are here to provide value to you guys, so if you've got something that you want us to speak about, again, please add it in the comments. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you another week. Bye.
Bye.